Given that, by the show's sixth season, Game of Thrones had already surpassed the published books from its source material, George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire novels, the series was always bound to make some major changes. The fantasy show took the world by storm not long after its 2011 premiere, with audiences on the edge of their seats as they eagerly anticipated every new episode. The show ran for 8 seasons, concluding its run in 2019 with 73 total episodes and 59 Emmy Awards from 156 nominations, the most ever for a drama series. Despite its reputation for falling apart towards the end, with one of the most loathed series finales in television history, Game of Thrones still cemented itself as a cultural juggernaut, helping to define television throughout the 2010s. Game of Thrones focused on its huge, sprawling ensemble cast, and while most, but not all, of Game of Thrones' massive cast of characters originates from Martin's novels, the changes made in the adaptation mean that some of the show's cast barely resemble their book counterparts. However, one of the biggest changes made to any character for Game of Thrones involves a relatively minor character who still managed to steal the show in his limited appearances. Although he only ever shows up in a handful of episodes, the version of Beric Dondarrion that appears in Game of Thrones makes some huge changes that help to completely set him apart from his A Song of Ice and Fire counterpart. And those changes ultimately tie into one of the show's most prominent themes. Beric Dondarrion, also known as the Lightning Lord, first appears in a brief scene in Season 1, Episode 6, A Golden Crown, when Ned Stark charges him with capturing Gregor Clegane, aka the Mountain, or the Mountain That Rides, a rogue knight loyal to House Lannister. At this point, Beric had proven his mettle by participating in tourneys, so Ned was fully able to trust the Lord of Blackhaven and head of House Dondarrion with such an important task. Beric leads a group of 100 men to take down the mountain, including the Red Priest Thuras of Myr, Paul K. However, Beric is apparently slain by the mountain, along with 60 of his men. Logically, that should be the last anyone hears of Beric Dondarrion. However, Beric reappears, alive and well, in Season 3, Episode 4, and now his watch has ended. Thuras of Myr had apparently been able to resurrect Beric with a prayer. Beric, Thuras, and the 40 surviving men from his hunt for the mountain now form the Brotherhood Without Banners, a group of outlaws who set out to protect the small folk regardless of which house they serve. Since his initial death, Thuras has been able to resurrect Beric multiple times, as shown after Beric dies at the hands of the mountain's younger brother, Sandor Clegane, aka the Hound, Rory McCann, in a trial by combat. After crossing paths with Arya and Gendry, Joe Dempsey, the bastard son of Robert Baratheon, the two temporarily team up with the Brotherhood, but once Beric sells Gendry to the Red Priestess Melisandre, Caris Van Houten, Arya leaves the group, enraged by the betrayal.